Hi, hello, how you doing? So glad you can join me today on another Wednesday stream where we continue to work on our learning management. I can't speak today. Let me do that again. Hi. Thank you for joining me today on another Wednesday stream where we continue to work on our learning management system built with Laravel, Livewire, and Filament and Scene. So, like 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 if I'm editing this and not all of this is live, everything is going in. So thank you for joining me, and so thrilled because today is going to be a good one. It's one of those rare occasions where we can actually see what we're building, and for me that's like the best feeling, where you can, as soon as we've been testing stuff and everything is working, and it's nice to see all of the tests passing, but once you see what you're building on the screen, best thing. So yeah, that's the one thing that we're going to do today. Let me check the chat, by the way. Sees probably nobody here, but either way, welcome. The one thing that I have for today is just that we are going to work on the watch episode page design. We have a few tests in for it from last week, and I think we're ready to actually work on the look and feel of the page. So that's pretty much all I have for today. Going back to VS Code so that we can start working right away. So this is the last test that we had for last week. Show the video player. So we are at least sure that we are showing a Vimeo player embedded on the page, but we haven't actually tried that out yet. We're going to do that today. But before we start, as always, let's make sure that everything is passing. I think I did this before, but let's do it again. Make sure that everything is green, and it is. So now we can start working. I think the first thing I need is we need to run the database. I mean, we have been working on the database for a while, so we need to apply all of those changes into a live database that we are going to use to actually display something. So let's start with that. Let me see, let me clear this up, and let's do PHP artisan migrate. Yes, migrate, and let's use fresh. So this will wipe out the database and recreate it from the beginning with all of the migrations. All right, that's done. And next thing we need is some data. So we need to actually have a course and a video, or a couple of videos to actually display. And for that, let me just quickly open Tinker, PHP artisan Tinker. Najid, how you doing? Let's go. Good morning. Good morning to you, my friend. So glad we can. So glad to have you here. All right. So we have Tinker, and to do what I'm going to do is basically just use the model factories to create data, just like we were doing when arranging the tests. So let's start with, let's look for one. I think the first one should do. Course, yeah, this one will create a course, and this will create a course for an instructor that has one episode. And this will link the episode to the course. I probably want to create at least 2 episodes, and I actually have a couple of videos uploaded to Vimeo that we're going to use, but let's start with this. Okay, so first of all, course factory. Probably want to, let's start by importing a few things. So I know I'm going to use app models course episode as well. What else? Course episode and user. All right. Let's start by saying course equals course factory just one, and I'm going to alter the state, right? No, just 4. Let's copy this. So course factory for user factory, let's make that an instructor, and I'm going to modify the details of all of those models that I'm creating after the fact. But this is, it's kind of faster this way. So then this has an episode, and I'm going to change that Vimeo ID in just a second. So copy this, paste it here. And I hope the size is all right for your eyes. I think it's okay for me, but I don't know if the zoom level is visible enough. If not, just let me know and I'll just enhance. What else? Has an episode, and that's it, right? Then it's just create. Yes. But I need the Vimeo ID, the actual Vimeo ID. So for that, let me quickly go into vimeo.com. And I'm going to log in. I already have an account on Vimeo. The free account allows you to upload the free account allows you to upload up to 2 videos per month, but you can upgrade to have no limitations. And let me go to, shut up. So as you can see, I have a couple of videos already uploaded, and they're from the Filament Bootcamp blog, and they're both the free videos from that course, and we're going to use those as an example. So let's start with the intro. So if you click on this, and then you click on embed over here, and you select responsive, you see that we have the iframe here, which is what we have in the test. And right here, it's the Vimeo ID. So I'm going to copy that and use it for the new episode that I'm creating here. Let's paste it here. There you go. So that will create a course with one video, and I'm with one episode, and I'm going to create the next episode by itself with another factory. Let's see if this works. Good. All right. So we have a course, but it has gibberish on the title and the tagline, and I'm going to leave the description as is. But let's change the title and tagline to make it more believable. So let's say, I think I already have a course, right? So course, let's change a few things. Course title, let's make that Filament Bootcamp. Only $17.99 on Gumroad. Sorry. There you go. And then the tagline. What do we use for the tagline? Let's just say an introduction. to filament. No, actually, let's do something different. Start learning filament today. That seems fine. And the instructor, that's fine. That's good. Let's just save that. All right, let's modify the episode real quick. So let's do episode or just EP equals episode find, and since it's the only one in the database, I'm just going to do find one, ID one. That should give me this, and let's change that title to what's the actual title? This is the introduction. So I'm going to leave the overview as is as well, just to have a chunk of text showing up on the screen. It's not really important in this case, as long as it is readable. So let's just leave it like that. So Vimeo ID is fine. The length in minutes, that's not accurate. Let me see, how long is this video? About a minute. So EP length, length, heat. Kenny Roger from Brazil. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. I don't speak Portuguese, but I'm gonna take that as a deseo sucesso. I wish you success, something like that. But thank you. So happy to have you here. Length in minutes. That's just one. And then save. What else? The user, which is the instructor, let's change that to myself. So user was user find one. And let's change user name to myself. And then email. Let's choose a fake email. And that's it. And save. So we have the instructor, we have one course with one episode. Let's add another episode to the same course. So we can do episode, good morning, I am John Dev. Thank you for joining me today. It's morning for everyone. It's actually evening for me. That's so bizarre. No, it's not bizarre. I mean, obviously, time zones. But yeah, good morning and thank you for being here. Gotta move the chat a little closer. There you go. So we can do episode factory. And this was going to be for, there you go, lots of hearts. Back at you. This is going to be for, we already have a course in a variable here, so let's just use that for course. And let's change the state. Again, we need the Vimeo ID. And what's the Vimeo ID of that other one? This is the intro. Let's go back. Back. Where is the back button? Ah, library here. And then we have the project tour, which is again about a minute in length. And the Vimeo ID is this. Let me zoom into this, by the way. There you go. Here's the Vimeo ID. Let's also set the title. Let's make that tour. And that's the only thing I need to change here. The overview is just going to be gibberish. And then create. That should work. And it does. All right. Lengthening minutes. I forgot. This is ID2. So it equals, let's just go up. As user here. Let's find number 2. And let's change the length in minutes to 1 as well. And then save. Okay, we have that. We have data in database, and I think we can finally serve our project and look at it. So let's do an exit out of here, clear, and then I need to do PHP artisan serve, and I'm going to need another terminal, and then do run dev. I use bun. If you prefer to use npm, that's fine as well. So we have Vite and we have a live server or a development server. So time to go to our page. Let's use it here. So if I remember correctly, this is in localhost, courses, and the course ID. All right, so we already had this page locked from last time, but I do want to make a few changes. I'll leave that for the end. I feel like the episodes list is taking too much space. I probably can make that a little smaller, but we'll do that after. For now, if we go to what route is it? Oh, we don't have a route. We don't have a route for this. And therefore we don't have, okay, we need to make one small test because I forgot that we don't have a route for the episode page. So we need to test that real quick and then we can come back and see it. All right. Can probably leave that running, and I'm going to add another terminal here. Okay. So watch episode test. No, we have a file for the route testing right here. So we need another test. I'm going to copy this one, paste it here, and it has a route for the episodes, watch episodes page. And I'm going to test two routes here because the episodes page works with either the specific episode or without it. So there is an optional parameter there. So let's do with optional episode parameter. So the course arrangement is fine. Or maybe it isn't. I think we need to add we need to add an episode. So I'm going to grab that from this first test. So we create a course with an instructor, but we also need at least one episode. like so. So the route, I think I'm gonna call it, if courses shows the course, then, and let's try this, courses episodes show, because we the route is going to include the course ID because we need that, so it's going to be the same in the same group basically. So this route is going to be without, no, with, let's do it with first. I going to try my best to translate what you're asking. It's very similar to Spanish. So basically what you're asking is if I'm launching a course platform. I'm not actually launching it, but I'm trying to replicate the experience of some of those that are out there, specifically codecourse.com, so that I'm basing myself, I'm using that as a base for this small project. It's not going to be production ready, but at least it's a nice teaching experience to create something of the likes, something like other learning management systems like Udemy, Lanacast, or CodeCourse. Let's use episode here as a parameter, and let's pass, since we only have course, let's use course episodes first. Yeah, that'll work. And then assert that that returns a good response. Now let's copy this one and let's make another assertion, but this time we don't pass the episode, and it should work either way. All right, let's test this because it's going to fail because we don't have a route, but at least that's the expectation. Or because I don't import the classes, import episode, user is already there. All right. Route courses episodes show not defined. Okay, exactly what I wanted. So now we can open routes web.php and then create another route here. I'm going to copy the first one and just add the URL. Let's courses, course ID. How do we call this? Episode. Yeah, let's call it episodes and then episode. But since this is an optional parameter, we have to use the question mark at the end, and that'll take care of it. And the name of the route, we said it's going to be courses, episodes, show. All right, run the test again, and it's passing. Awesome. Okay, now we can actually visit that route. Let's go back to the browser, check that the site's okay, and let's type it out here, courses 1, episodes, and let's just do episodes. Well, oh, this was a false passing because I use copy and paste. This is using the show course component. Obviously, why did it work? Only because the course ID was in the URL, so it didn't matter about the rest. Anyway, so let's change this to watch episode class. Test it again, this time for real. Still passing, good. Now let's go and visit the route in the browser. and it immediately loaded. All right, so this is our course page. The video is working out of the box, which is good. It's a little small, but we're going to fix that with the actual code from Vimeo, which contains the iframe, but it adds some styling to it so that it looks better. Also, let me show you what I'm looking for in terms of style. As I was saying, I'm using codecourse.com as an example. And if we navigate to to some course, let's say this one. So I'm looking for something like this. I want the video on one side, the video player on one side, and the list of episodes on the right side. And then the title up top and the overview. They put the title below here, but I kind of like it up here. So I want the title here, then the video player, the overview of the course down below it, and then the list of episodes. So we have most of the information here, except for the title. We're going to have to add that. And in terms of design, what I'm thinking is we're going to use a, maybe divide this page with a section component, divide it into 2 columns. And the first column is going to have another section, which is divided in 2 rows with the title, the video player entry, and the overview. And on the right side, the repeatable entry, which is this one. All right, let's get to work. Let's see. Let's open, what was it? Watch episode. Let me look for it. It was the watch episode. So it's in resources, views. I think it's Livewire. Watch episode. .blade. Actually, let's work on the video player first. So that's in info lists, video player entry. So this is the code for just the video player, which is this part right here. So let's first work on this so that it extends to the full width of the container. Can we implement this in YouTube videos too? You know, I was thinking about that. Sorry, I wanted to make an app that takes notes on video with timestamps so I can quickly get there. That's an interesting idea. Probably we can. I haven't looked into the embedded, I don't know if there is an API from YouTube for embedding videos. But I do know that when you embed a video, you basically just pass an URL and the video ID at the end. So it could work. But yeah, that'll be interesting to have the ability to embed both YouTube and Vimeo's in the same project. Maybe we can get to it. We'll see. But it's an interesting idea, and I was thinking about that today. Sorry. So yeah, let's work on this first. How can we do? Let me try and minimize this first. Let me see how it looks. Maybe like so, maybe a bit smaller, maybe like so. This is just so, because we are running Vite in development, if I make a change here, it will automatically refresh the page so that we can have an idea live, so we can see the changes that we're making live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and grab the code, the code for the video right from Vimeo. Which one is this? This is the Tor one, right? Introduction, because it's the first one. So I'm going to go to library again, click on introduction, and then embed. And I'm just going to grab all of this. Do I need the script? I don't need, they include like a script here so that we can use the Vimeo API to interact with the video player. We're not going to do anything with that just now, but I'm going to leave it in because later on I do want to interact with the video, like making sure that when the video ends, I mark that video as watched, and probably, yeah, play around with what they offer in terms of video player API. So I'm just going to leave it in. So let's just copy everything from here and then go back to the template. And I'm going to replace this div. Let me just make sure, let's not replace it just yet. Let's just comment it out. And then paste it down here. Now let's clean it up a bit because it's just one big ugly line. So this is the div first and then the iframe second. There is a bunch of parameters here that I don't need, like the badge, I don't need that. Auto pause, don't need that. Player ID, I'm not gonna use that yet. App ID, so I don't need any of that. I'm going to remove all of those extra parameters and let's bring this down one line. I can't bring this over here because if I do that, one of our tests is going to fail because the test that verifies that the video player is in the screen is expecting that complete string with the iframe and the source and the Vimeo ID at the end. So I had to leave that on the same line, but at least the frame border I can bring down. This allow autoplay full screen picture in picture, that can stay. Then they're using inline styles, which I'm probably going to transfer to Tailwind CSS. But I'm going to leave it there for now just to test it. Title, I don't need the title. I already have that, or I will have it. So let's remove title. Bring this back, close iframe, close the div, and this, then I do need, yeah, let's leave the script in there for now. Okay. Although that script, we probably need to put it in script. By using the script directive, this is from Livewire, by the way. Livewire will take care of running or loading this JavaScript and managing the execution of that script without us having to worry about when to load it and worrying about the life cycle of the Livewire component. So Livewire will take care of running and loading the JavaScript at the right time. So it's very important that whenever you're using custom JavaScript code in your Livewire components, you always wrap those in this script directive. I think it's script. Let me just double check just to make sure. I don't want to make any mistakes here. So let me just go to Livewire Laravel. Yeah, it's just script and script. Okay. Cool. So let's see what happens if I save this. So if I save, there you go. So we immediately have a player that is extending to the full length of the container. So now let's clean it up a bit because I don't like stylings like this. So let's start with the iframe. So instead of style, I'm going to use class. Start with the position absolute, so we can use absolute in this case from Tailwind CSS, and remove this from here. And if we save, that should stay the same, and it does. Then we have top 0, left 0. We can do that with top 0, left 0, and then remove those two. Perfect. Then width 100%, height 100%. We can translate that to W full for full width and H full for full height. And then just remove the style completely. Save. Everything's fine. All right, now let's work on this style here. So they're using padding. I don't like magic numbers. Padding 56.25. 0, 0. So this is the how it goes. Top, bottom. So they're just adding padding to the top and then no padding on. It goes top, left, bottom, right. So top is 56, right is 0, bottom 0, left 0. So just the top. That's interesting. And obviously position the relative so that the absolute position of this iframe is relative to the container div. But why do they do 56.25? So basically like half the page. Let's see what happens. So let's try and use class. What happens if I remove it? Let's just use relative for the position. First, let's take this off. Everything works fine. And let's remove this padding just to see what happens. We have to remove everything. Oh, it goes away. Interesting. Okay, let's add some padding then. So it was padding top. So let's use padding top. Let's use a big number here. 10, 12, 24. How much is that? Let's do 40. How much is 40? That's like 160 pixels. Ooh, too small. How about 50? 52? Huh. So it seems like by adding the padding at the top, that's what gives the player the height. So it was what, 52 point, I already forgot. Let me undo a few steps here. 56.25. All right, you win. But I'm going to do that in Tailwind CSS instead by using padding top, then dash, and then use 56.25 exactly. And then remove it. All right. I'll do the 56.25 then. I'm guessing it's gonna get smaller if the container is smaller. So we'll see. But at least it's everything is in Tailwind CSS now. And I guess we can get, oh no, one more thing is that we need to use the state as the Vimeo ID. Save and working. Now we can get rid of this one, and that takes care of our video player entry, complete with all the stylings that we need. Now we can go and work on the sections of the page. So I'm going to close this, close the web.php, Route test we don't need. We don't need the watch episode test anymore. So now let's open. Let's make this bigger. So Livewire watch episode.blade.php. And actually, no, we need to work on the component because we are working with Filament here with an info list. So let's close this one. And let's open app, info list, components. No, where is it? Livewire, watch episode. Here we go. So right now we just have the video player at the top and then an overview. So let's make this smaller now. So first of all, let's split the screen into 2 or 3. Let's go with 3 columns because if I split it in 2, then the video, the episode list is going to occupy half the screen, and I want it to be smaller, which is the same thing that I want to do on the course details. So let's see how it looks here. So first of all, let's add info lists, components, section, make. So this will be the section that is going to divide the screen into 3 columns. So for that, let's use columns 3. And so in the first column, in the first 2 columns actually, we want the video player and we want the title and the video player. So let's grab the video player from here and let's put it inside this section. And let's make sure that the column span is 2. And we need the title. And I said we don't have it right now, but let's add it. So let's add another info lists, components, text entry, make, title. We probably want to hide the label here, so hidden label. And I want this to be bigger and more noticeable. So let's start with the font size. I think it's just size. And here we can pass any Tailwind CSS class if we want. So let's do, I think we had it in 4Excel, text 4Excel. That's what we did in the course details. And I'll double check in a second. But let's try with text 4Excel and then weight for the font weight. Here we can use font bold. All right, so that's one side. And hold on. Oh, we need another section for this. So within this section, there'll be another section that is on, it's on one side, and on the other side will be the repeatable entry, but we need to wrap these two in their own section, right? Maybe not. We do need the overview. Hold on. So let's grab the overview as well. And put it below the video player. Let's just save, see how it looks. Kinda. Forgot to make the title column span 2. That's 2, and I need to put the overview below because it's showing up here. So I need the column span 2 as well on the overview. Okay. So that leaves us with introduction, which is the title, video player, and overview. And now, right now, the courses are showing up below, which I think, let me see. This is already in an info list. And the info list is a schema. And I think I can just get away with making this info list. What happens if I just move the info list repeatable entry? That's 2 columns. Let's grab that. And no, I can't put it, or maybe I can. Let's see what happens. Put it just below the overview. No, it's because if I put it below the overview, it's going to show up down here, and I need this to be split. So no. Maybe, okay, let me make this a little bigger. So what I can do is this info list, I can make that info list to be 3 columns instead. So the entire info list is 3 columns. And then I have a section, and I can remove this columns 3, which is for the section, and just make that instead. Let me move it to the top. It's clearer that way. So this section here, I actually have to move it down below. It was all right. So this is the section that is in the first 2 columns. So I can make this section to be a column span of 2. And then I can take the repeatable entry and put it below the section right here. So that means that we have an info list page, which is divided in 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, and the first 2 columns, which will be a section that has the title, the video player, and the overview, and the remaining column will be a repeatable entry. Okay, I think that's fine. Let me do this and save. Yeah, that's how I want it. Okay, all right. And yeah, the video player adjusts to the size of the page. Maybe we can remove this label here. Let's look for the repeatable entry and hidden label. Yeah, much better. It lines up perfectly at the top, which is great. Cool. I like it. What else could we do? No, I think it looks good. Let's try it out in mobile, see how it looks. What is that? Huh. Anyway, yeah, it stacks up perfectly. So we have the introduction, the title, the video player, and the overview, and then below it, the course episodes stacked under it. The one thing that I don't like is this is not extending to the full length. Why could that be? Huh. Interesting that this is a grid. This is the grid that divides it, but the elements on this, well, it's not that big of a deal, to be honest. It's just strange to me that this element will extend to the border, but this will respect the grid spacing. It's fine. It's not that jarring, to be honest. Okay, yeah, that's looking pretty good. Now, one thing I want to do right now then is I want to make a link from the course page. Well, first of all, let's do that same column thing here instead, because this is one section down here. And what I did was I put a description on that section and make that description to be on the side. But I think it's better if I just make a section, split it in 3 columns, and make a text entry for the description to occupy 2 of those columns and then the episodes. Yeah, let's do that. Real quick. We're gonna need the show course. So yeah, here we're making a section about this course, and I'm just taking the description, putting it on the side with aside, and then the repeatable entry. But I think instead I'm just going to take this section, make it columns 3, remove the description and aside, and then put the episodes, which are going to take column span 1. I think by default is 1. What I can do then instead is just on top of that, let's use info lists, components, text entry, make, and this will be for overview, was it? Description. Was it description? I already forgot. Wow. Guess we can open the watch episode test. No, the course, show course test. Yeah, description. I was in the right track. So course description, and this is going to take column span of 2. Better. Okay. Now let's make this a link so that we can click on specific episodes and go and watch those. We already made sure that if we don't use an episode in the URL, I think we did that, right? Yeah, if we don't use an episode in the URL, we see the first episode, and that's the beauty of testing because we know that works. But now I want to make a link so that we can click on tour, for example, and go to that specific one. And I think we can just get away with, where's the repeatable entry here? in show course, let's make the title. First of all, let's use hidden label on this. Ooh. Let's make hidden label everything. Better. So in the repeatable entry, the title can be a link, and we can do that by using, there is URL, I think. Yep. We can use the URL function, and then this expects a string. Let's use a shorthand function. Pass in the, what is this, episode? Yeah, episode record. Because this repeatable entry is going to repeat over, it's going to use the episodes relationship. So every entry of that every repeatable entry will be, I can inject the episode record, which is just, yeah, it's just a model that is returned by this relationship in the course model. So with that record, I can simply construct the route. So let's use route. The route name is courses episodes show, and we need to pass two parameters, which is the course. You can use record course, because we do have that relationship, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. Go to the episode model, and yeah, we do have a course relationship. But additionally, we want to pass the episode, which will be record. What happens if I just pass record? Will it work? It might work, but it's safer if, why am I looking at the light? It's safer if we, because in the future, I want to switch the URL parameter in route model binding from ID to a slug, so that we can have a slug in the URL that we represent the course or the episode. And instead of using the ID, we can read in the URL like the course title. We can use that, or we can add a slug column in the course table, so that we can use that instead of the ID for route model binding. But that means that the safe way to do things here is to use record course get route key. So we're future proofing the route parameter by using get route key. So in this case, it's going to give me the ID, but if I switch that later and configure that to be a slug, then this is not going to break. And let's do the same thing with record get route key. And record, in this case, represents an episode. All right, let's see if that works. Save, go back, and yeah, we have a link. And if we look, it's barely visible, but in the corner down below, you can't see it probably. But I can see that it actually links to courses, ID, episodes, ID. So let's click on the second one. just to test it out. There you go. Well, kind of, there you go. Okay, it took a second to load, but there it is. So now we can see the second video and link directly to that. We are probably going to do the same with these two later on. And also, I'm probably going to want to make it visible which, even though we have the title here, I want to maybe change the background of the repeatable entry if possible, just to denote, just to notate that this is the video that you're currently watching. Or maybe add some other visual visual cue for the course that you're currently in. But other than that, I think we have a good page. And yeah, the time-wise, that's an hour, 1 hour, 1 minute. And I think this is a good stopping point, I believe. So yeah, in the future episodes, I'm going to start tweaking this a little bit more. Maybe add a connection from the core, from here to the course page back, so that we can go back to the course page. Maybe add a button or an action in this section so that we can, maybe something that reads watch now, so that we can jump to the course without clicking on any specific episode. And later on, we are going to also play around with the Vimeo API, so that, for example, if we start watching this episode and the video ends, then we can mark that episode as watched, so that you can have another video, another visual cue in this page saying maybe a green check next to the video, indicating that you already watched that one, and maybe move to the next one automatically. So yeah, lots of things that we can do here, and we are going to keep doing that. But we're going to go back to testing next week, because in order to do that, and in order to play with those behaviors, we're going to introduce Livewire events, dispatching events, using JavaScript to dispatch events and listen to those events on different components in the page. And that's going to be very interesting. So that's for next week. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this interesting and useful. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.